If you can keep things from bothering you, you won't have to suffer from them. Mostly of all the antics of imbeciles, they even find ways to fish a dry fish. A few years back, it was too easy for the world to ruin my life for me. A 10 seconds bad interaction with any frivolous type, at any frivolous site, would make my day from terrible to simply miserable. At some point, I realized that I was giving people too much credit. I was obviously bothered by none other than myself. It was fair to say that I was easily upset or aggravated. I'd even say dark and cursing. My anxiety and stress levels were unusually high for someone my age. Ha! Who am I kidding? Everyone my age now gets traumatized for breakfast. Before long, these days were behind me. The older we get, the lesser we are bothered by things or what others think. We won't be bothered by people so much if we are truly mindful to the difference in opinions. The last was that I couldn't get enough from people's reactions once they knew I was not bothered at all by their attempts. And it doesn't have to be your worst enemy or some stranger. We are often surrounded by the people we care about, and they can be annoying sometimes. Even the most polite people in the world have bad habits. If we try to not be bothered by some things, it's axiomatic that we should try to be bothered by some things. I'm not gonna waste your time by telling you not to let anything bother you. It's ridiculous, for there is no realistic procedure to follow, unless you smoke some weed. But various psychoactive substances would only make it worse for the long term. Besides, the subject at hand is more philosophical than pharmacological. To entertain a philosophical case, there must be a question. Why do we let things bother us so much? Maybe because we care. We care about what others think about us and how we feel about ourselves, because other people's preconceived notions affect how we perceive ourselves, or maybe because we are compassionate creatures who value others' feelings. But as human beings, we have a unique tendency to overrate things, hold on to unnecessary attachments, and let things bother us more than or longer than they should. The reason may range from how we've developed, how we've been raised, our personality types, our choices, emotional and spiritual traits. If we can discover more about ourselves, we can learn how to control the depth to which things bother us. Culture and tradition are vital for persevering values, history, and language. But there is no denying that it is often conventional, and as individuals we must originate idiosyncratic thinking. Guilt and shame play a major role in opening the door for things to bug us. Guilt is a chain of intense emotions that comes from committing wrong deeds. Shame is an inner vampire that feeds off our energy when we feel like complete failures. Perfectionists aim for flawlessness and often beat themselves up for not being perfect and sweat the small details. People pleasers are overly mindful of people's opinions. If you go way out of your way for others, you are most likely to take their actions as personal rejections. You tend to focus on the negative, hence you are more likely to notice and dwell on things that bother you instead of the good things in your life. Low self-esteem makes you believe that you're not good enough. This makes you sensitive to criticism and quick to take things personally. Anxiety makes it hard to stop thinking about things that bother you. When you're anxious, your mind is always on high alert, making it difficult to let things go. You're a pessimist. If you're the kind of person who always expects the worst, you're more likely to be offended when things don't go your way. If we are successful at recognizing what sets us off, that's half the battle. The other half is just for you to relax, train your mind and develop some techniques. Go for optimism. People choose to be pessimistic by default instead of generating optimism and refer to themselves as realistic. I don't want to repeat this song, but optimists are generally more successful and happier in life, even when they don't get the desired results. Reframe your thinking. You did your best to stop something from bothering you, but you got stuck focusing on a problem. Fine. Go ahead and let it bother you, but you have to find a solution and move on. Reframing is a technique that therapists use for a variety of mental health approaches, including this one. Do not amplify what bothers you. People often exaggerate things that bother them. Every time you do that, it expands in your brain, which causes you to embrace a mindset full of negativity. This way, if a small matter occurs, it automatically becomes the amplified version your mind is already convinced of. If you are already in such a situation, try to think about the good things that happen to you. This is the Stoic concept of control. We can't always control what happens to us, but we can always decide how to react to it. Our response is our responsibility and our choice. By cultivating mindfulness, gratitude, positive self-talk, and the other strategies discussed, you'll find yourself better equipped to handle whatever comes your way, lead into a more peaceful and fulfilling life. We bother each other by simply existing. It's part of the package. If your grandfather bothers you, unplug his life support. Let's all do our best to choose compassion and focus on humanity. We need not let be alone. We need to be really bothered once in a while.